A reading from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 2. When the angels had left them and gone into heaven, the shepherds said one to another, "Let us go now to Bethlehem and see this thing that has taken place, which the Lord has made known to us." So they went with haste and found Mary and Joseph and the child lying in the manger. When they saw this, they made known what had been told them about this child, and all who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds told them. But Mary treasured all these words and pondered them in her heart. The shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all they had heard and seen, as it had been told them. After 8 days had passed, it was time to circumcise the child, and he was called Jesus, the name given by the angel before he was conceived in the womb.
This week's Gospel rather overlaps with the Gospel we heard on Christmas morning. You know the story. The shepherds are in the fields, tending the sheep, doing their jobs, when the angels announce to them that Jesus has been born in Bethlehem. And so today's reading starts. We learn that when the angels left them, the shepherds decide to go to Bethlehem. I think today's reading can tell us 3 really important things about discipleship. One of the things that this passage can teach us is that discipleship involves action. Now, the shepherds were busy. They had sheep to look after. They'd probably found quite a good place to be out of the cold and the wind and the elements. And yet, when they heard the news the angels brought them, they sprung into action. They went to Bethlehem to see what had happened. If I'm honest with you, I might have stayed where I was. Discipleship involves action because it's no use knowing that people are hungry without taking steps to see that they're fed. It's no use knowing that people are downtrodden without taking action to know that they are going to be lifted up. Mary also gives us an important insight into discipleship, because in contrast to the shepherds' action, we're told that Mary treasured all the things that were being said about Jesus, and she pondered them in her heart. This pondering, this contemplation is key to your discipleship and mine. I rush from meeting to meeting, from appointment to appointment, from task to task, and sometimes it's really hard to make time to sit still with God. And yet, the former Archbishop of Canterbury, Rowan Williams, says that this contemplation is not just a part of our discipleship, but it's essential to our understanding of God, prayer, liturgy, art and ethics. We need to make time to be with God, to consider these mysteries. One other thing that this passage can teach us is that it's important to be obedient to God's will. If you think about the naming of Jesus and of John the Baptist, both events caused a minor stir. The name John didn't run in John's family, and the name Jesus wasn't a family name for him either. And when John was being named, his relatives said, "Are you sure?" And Zachariah had to write on a tablet, "His name is John." Likewise, when Mary and Joseph took Jesus to the temple, they named him with the name that the angel had declared at the Annunciation. They were going against the norms of the day, but following God's plan. Our discipleship should look like this too. Sometimes we'll have to fall in with God's plan and be countercultural. So in the week ahead, I hope you get a chance to consider the 3 things this passage can teach us: the need for action, the need for contemplation, and the need to obey God's will.